Hello once again YouTube, Chris and I bringing you some Minecraft action. Today I'm going to be bringing you a tutorial for World Edit. It's going to be how I do cliffs with World Edit. It's very similar to some other videos that I've seen on the internet, but I'm just going to be showing you how I do them for my videos, and we'll see how it goes. So basically, behind me, you can see some cliffs, some very nice ones. I'll show you a little bit better view if you want of these cliffs. Got some nice custom trees on this map. This is the server I've been working on for quite a while. Now let's take a look around. So as you can see, these are some pretty nice cliffs. They got some nice sheer drops. Grass goes up to them a little bit, and at the top, if you want me to melt them, I can show you that the grass around the top is a little bit rocky. There you have it. Some of the grass at the top is a little bit patchy, rocky. Makes it a little bit more realistic, and not just a flat, straight edge up to the top of the cliff of grass. The other thing a lot of people do when they make cliffs and stuff in Minecraft is they add a layer of dirt or grass onto the top of it, and I just don't like that. That's not something I care for. It doesn't make it look good to me. I like sheer things. I don't like the dirt and the grass all over every single part of the map. It's just not good to me. It doesn't look good. To me, I like, realistic looking landscapes, and this is pretty realistic. I mean, you don't have grass growing on the side of a cliff as much as you think you would, so why would you put grass on it at all? So what we're going to do is we're going to come fly over here. This is a very good example of a valley that I finished. We're going to go over here and we're going to do some more cliffs on an area in this direction. It's not finished yet. Like I said, this is a custom World Painter server or World Painted map that I had done. There's more videos about that. Go check them out. Um, Let's see. So here's the area that we want to redo. I've already got some cliffs finished, but we're gonna finish the rest of it because over here it's a little bit sloped. This one's pretty smooth, and we don't want that. We want some nice sheer cliffs. That was what I was intending for this area when I first made it. These cliffs go right into the mountain. So now we need to put it back into the mountain, put it back, make it look nice, and I'll show you how I go through that. So the first thing we're going to want to do is, see that tree right there? We can't have that tree. So grab a tool. I'm going to use this diamond axe, slash brush, sphere, air 5. We're just going to get rid of that tree. Bam. It's pretty much already gone already. Don't worry about holes and stuff like that we're making in the ground, especially stuff like that. Don't worry about it. We'll be cleaning it all up. Next thing you're going to want is a shovel. Um, this is for the gravel, or it doesn't have to be a shovel. Use whatever tool you want. Just make sure you remember what tool you assign to which thing, because you can make a mistake, and if you make too many mistakes, you can't take them all back unless you edit the configuration files beforehand. So we're going to turn this into a gravel brush. Brush, sphere, gravel 5, and this will allow us to drop down gravel onto the landscape. Now the thing about this is, not only is it replacing blocks, such as stone, but it is not covering up or replacing snow. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to slash undo. That is not going to get rid of all the gravel because the gravel fell and it is therefore not the gravel you placed anymore. So we're going to get another tool. I'm using shears and I'm going to do slash brush sphere air 5 slash slash mask gravel. That way, it only gets rid of gravel. We don't have to worry about any of that dirty gravel screwing up our dirty terrain anymore. So now, as I said, this will replace stone blocks, and we don't want that to replace anything. We just want it to replace air, so we're going to slash mask air. That way, when you place the gravel down, it will only replace air blocks and nothing more. This way we can layer the gravel on top of the landscape without altering anything below what we have placed. We're also going to thaw the area. I'm using thaw just because this is a snow area and we need to get rid of the snow in order to work with the gravel here. For some reason that's not loading. Give me a second while I update this. There we go. And as you can see, all the snow is getting pushed away because I thawed it all out. It's taking a moment just because it's a server and it's a little bit laggy. So basically, now that we have our gravel brush, which is the first brush we're going to use, we're going to start layering up this cliff. and you're just going to bring it up. And just be careful when you place this, especially if you have like slow loading time for the server to render these blocks. It doesn't exactly matter how you do this, you just want to make the edge of the cliff that you're creating. So I'm just going to go along the edge real quick and get some of this gravel plotted. We're going to add a little bit more here. It's going to make a nice little peak. Add some in there. You want it to be a constant line of gravel. You don't want any gaps because it's very easy to tell where you placed and edited the landscape when you have gaps like that. So we're going to make a full straight line and fill in gaps of gravel. We're going to bring it over here. We're going to make a nice little cliff edge here, and I don't exactly know how big we can make this cliff. I think this part of the landscape extends down for quite a while. I have raised mini-map in the corner so you get an overhead view of the entire area. Let me just zoom out so you get a larger picture. Slash slash thaw 100. Let's clear out some more of this snow, and that way we can see what the hell we're doing. On the mini-map, you could see that a cliff also extends down here and connects with this one, and there's ways we will be layering and adding cliffs, and I'll show you that uh, when we skip forward to show you the end product. I'll show you what we did with all this, but for now, you're going to want to get the edge of the cliff defined. If you need to get rid of any of the gravel, just go ahead and use the airbrush to get rid of it, the one that you set to mask the gravel. Be careful not to use this one, as it will delete more than just the gravel itself. It will delete, other blocks, so you're going to want to undo if you have to undo. Try and do this one step at a time. Don't do a lot at once. Like I said, you don't want to make a mistake and ruin your terrain. It's very hard sometimes to fix things like that, and, you need to be able to fix things like that. So we're going to connect that gravel right down to there. That's looking pretty good. This is looking very high for a cliff. It's turning out really nice. You're going to want to start to go in behind the edge of the cliff and connect it with the landscape behind it. So there's a little bit of a hill here. We're going to want this hill to continuously slope down into this area. So we're going to get some of this gravel taken out and place it in so that this hill will eventually slope down or even out with this cliff edge. Look out for big gaps like this. You want to plug them up. The gravel will fall down. The reason we're using gravel is so that it falls down and doesn't leave any air pockets, because air pockets aren't good for things like this. Let's get a nice prominent cliff face here. Very big. We can make something nice over here. A little bit of terrain differentiation. It's very interesting. I won't be doing all of this at once. Please ignore the chat, by the way. I don't know exactly. I'm not entirely paying attention to it, so, don't worry if I'm missing something. If somebody calls my name, it's whatever. I told them I was going to be filming today, and hopefully they know that. I'm a very busy person on the server. I'm king of one of the factions, and I get a lot of chit chat every day about random stuff, and, keeps me busy. Now that we have the cliff edges all defined, you can, like I said, fill in the gaps, make sure that everything looks good. Smooth it out a little bit. Even though it's a cliff, you don't want like massive, jagged, huge, gigantic stones sticking out. Not entirely ridiculous, but it can look pretty over the top and awesome at the same time if you do it correctly, like the cliffs I showed you originally on the other side of that hill. So now we're going to take another brush, and this is going to help roughen up the cliffs. As you can see, those cliffs look a little bit rough. These cliffs look a little bit smooth, and the reason that is because we've been creating spheres on top of spheres of gravel, and it's a smooth shape in terms of Minecraft blocks. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a brush that will help roughen that up. Time 8, just so I can see. In this brush, we will do brush sphere 10% air, comma, 90% gravel, and then 5. In case you're wondering, the largest brush size I'm using is 5 because I'm assuming that's what the config file was set to. I can't make it any bigger than that, otherwise I would be, especially for things like masking the gravel with stone, which we will get to in a few moments. Now that we have our brush that edits the air and gravel, places air and gravel, what we're going to do is we're going to mask gravel. That way we don't get any air pockets in the stone underneath or the grass around it. And you're going to very quickly just go along the edges of the cliff. You don't have to spend a lot of time doing this because the more you do it, the more rocky it will get. However, if you do want it to look a little bit rockier in some places, go right ahead. This will roughen it up, make it look a little bit more jagged. Look at this. This is not looking um, unnatural anymore. It's looking very stony, very jagged already. It's looking a hell of a lot better. It's fantastic. We're going to take another tool now, and we're going to do brush, smooth. I'm going to go with 4, just because. 4 is a nice shape, size, I guess. I don't know. And we're going to smooth out all of this. And if you have any trees in the area, you're going to want to mask it to dirt, grass, gravel, stone, and air. Um, that's just so you don't affect the trees and drag leaves all over the place and all that sort of stuff. Bring up the smooth to the very edge of the cliff, wherever you want it to be. Doesn't really matter. Just, try and make it look a little bit more blended with the landscape, especially in areas like this. And this is looking very rocky. It's going to look fantastic when we're done. Just smooth it all out. Be careful when you get close to the trees. Like I said, you're going to eventually start dragging leaves and logs around. See that? Yep, there you go. Leaves and all that. It's been dragged around, and it's not turning out too great. We can fix it later, but I'm not too concerned about it. Just going to smooth out all of this. Make it look like this hill naturally came down and met this cliff, along with this area too. When you bring this tool, the smooth tool, to the edge of things, it kind of makes things in a square shape, so be careful. You might turn out with something that you didn't want. This I would like a little bit more gravel on top of, so we're going to add some. Let's hope it updates. Come on. There we go. Then we're going to jaggedify it and then smooth out the top. You're going to have to make things bigger than you originally wanted them to be, especially if you're using the smooth tool. And if you want, you can fill up those holes just by clicking down the hole and it'll smooth out the entire thing. Fortunately, that didn't get the effect that I want. So I'm just going to get some gravel, fill that up. There. That looks a little bit better. This step is very important for making the cliff look natural and all that. You definitely want to use this step. If you want the cliffs at the very base of this hill to look sheer, there's definitely, you definitely want to make them come straight down into the ground. You can, if you want, however, add a little bit of gravel in places where you want, let's say, some of this to slowly slope up into the area. You basically just place down some gravel, smooth it all out. Like I said again, be careful with the smooth because it will create sheer cliffs and squarish looking areas sometimes, especially when you're using it at the top of these spots. And there. Later on, we'll cover that with some grass and make it look like the grass is trying to grow up the side of the cliff that's not so sheer. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover all of this gravel back into stone. So we're going to get a brush, sphere, stone, 5, / mask, gravel. And you're just going to cover all of this gravel back into stone. If you want, you can also / mask, gravel, and dirt. The reason I say that is because some of the gravel may have landed on top of dirt, And when you turn this into stone, you'll have stone that's resting on top of dirt, and that doesn't really look good in my opinion. So therefore, you can just turn that dirt into stone. It will also allow you to turn any dirt underneath grass into stone, and that kind of looks good around these areas too, and I can show you over there. If we hit that up, it makes it look a little bit rocky, and at the same time it keeps the grassy effect all over it. So just going to continue and cover this entire place with stone now. Don't worry about the big patch of rock at the top. We will clean this up and make it look a little bit more natural with the next brush. Sorry if it takes a while. It's just the server loading in and updating all these blocks. There's nothing I can really do about it. If you want information about the server, I'll be posting links down below. Definitely check us out. We're really fun. I'm having a blast. We have a nice kingdom, a nice map, and currently with World Edit, which we just got updated on the server, we can be changing around a lot of that. Any of the empty and boring areas we will be updating with nice scenery and stuff, or at least I will be. Some of the other players will be too that have World Edit capabilities. It's a role-playing server. I highly urge you to join if you're into that stuff. We have 3 kingdoms, dwarves, elves, and humans at the moment. We're open for expansion in the future, and it's really fun. Moving on to the next brush, it's going to replace a lot of the stone with grass, but if we use the brush on grass, it will add some stone as well. That's very useful for 2 parts of this. So what I'm going to be doing or typing is brush sphere 70% grass, comma 30% stone 5. You can make it any size you want. The smaller it is, the easier it is to, manage and get into little crevices and stuff. And we're going to mask grass and stone. And now we can pull the grass terrain to the very edge of the cliff. And this will give it a very realistic feel. If you ever played World of Warcraft, you'll notice that's kind of how they do their cliffs for their scenery. Not that it really pertains to this at all. It's just, an observation that I made while I was playing that game. And I like the way those cliffs look, and I like the way they feel. Or at least their mountains. That's what they did on their mountains. So they would place grass or snow or a different material in the crevices and gaps between the sheer drops and rock faces. You can pull and push as much as you want. Let's say if I wanted to add a little bit of stone over there, I can just bam, do that, and it adds some stone to the scenery. You don't have to bring all this stone back. And I think this is a really good amount for what we're trying to achieve here. The 70% grass, 30% stone combo we're going for. Look at that. It's almost done. I'm going to leave this a little bit more sheer and cliff because we're going to be doing the rest of that, and I'll come back to it after. The other thing you can use this brush for is down at the bottom. You can change this up a little bit. Certainly add some grass to this area, the part that we smoothed out. It's just taking a moment to update. That makes it look like the grass is trying to creep its way up to the top there. Oh, and tree, get out of my way. We'll also, clean this up and make it look like not so much of a blotch of stone is at the bottom. So now we have that. As you can see, some of the dirt was replaced. Some of the dirt that's underneath this, as time goes on, we can, change that back into grass or stone, turn that grass and dirt into stone so that the cliff is not resting on top of dirt. It makes no sense to me, so, we're gonna clean that up. And yeah, so I'm gonna finish the rest of this. I'm gonna come back to you and I'm gonna show you the end product, and I'm gonna show you how you can have like layered cliffs and multiple cliffs on one edge. It's gonna be freaking awesome. I'll show you that when we get back, and Perhaps I'll add a few trees. I'm not sure if I know how to copy and place those trees, which are the custom trees that we used, but I can certainly try, and if I fail, oh well. I'll see you in a few seconds. And there we have it. I finished the cliffs for this area. As you can see, I have added like a double cliff plateau thing. We have, flat land right here. If you look up, you'll see these cliffs, right? And then if you manage to climb them, which I hope many people try or, find a way up here without altering the landscape too much, they'll get to this little landing here. They can make a camp or something, a little fire, a nice place to be safe from monsters and stuff because not so many will spawn on this part. And ooh, finding some dirt. Um, there's a little bit more cliff to climb up, and once they get up here, woohoo, king of the hill, man. They're done. So yeah, I'm just gonna cover this area back in snow just to show you what it looks like. Snow 100, just to see if I can get as much of it covered in snow again. Now, obviously, with the grass, it doesn't stay. You might want to keep, snow not on this area. It's a cliff design that can be used in any biome, really. It doesn't really matter where it goes. It's just, this is a snow biome, and I need to replace the snow once I'm done with it. So there you have it. There's some cliffs. These are the original ones we did over here together, and wow, they're looking great. Snow 100. Let's get this snow loaded in here. We'll see what this place looks like covered in some snow. I manually edited the landscape around those trees because, like I said, it smooth command edits all blocks unless you mask it. So I fixed that myself personally, and there you have it. That's it. So now these cliffs are covered in snow and they look fantastic, and oh yeah, it's looking great. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of this tutorial. I hope it actually helped you. That'd be fantastic if you could let me know in the comments below some feedback. Like the video if you liked it, favorite, subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be bringing you more of the landscape tutorials and things that you can do with World Edit because it's just fantastic. It's an amazing tool. So I'll see you guys later. Join the server. The information is down below. Yes, I am telling you that again because I really want you guys to check it out if you aren't already on there. And thanks. See you next time. Let's see. So here's the area that we want to redo. I've already got some cliffs finished, but we're gonna finish the rest of it because over here it's a little bit sloped. This one's pretty smooth, and we don't want that. We want some nice sheer cliffs. That was what I was intending for this area when I first made it. These cliffs go right into the mountain. So now we need to put it back into the mountain, put it back. Now let's take a look around. So as you can see, these are some pretty nice cliffs. They got some nice sheer drops. Grass goes up to them a little bit, and at the top, if you want me to melt them, I can show you that the grass around the top is a little bit rocky. There you have it. Some of the grass at the top is a little bit patchy, rocky. Makes it a little bit more realistic, and not just Hello once again, YouTube. Chris and I bringing you some Minecraft action. Today I'm going to be bringing you a tutorial for World Edit. It's going to be how I do cliffs with World Edit. It's very similar to some other videos that I've seen on the internet, but I'm just going to be showing you how I do them for my videos, and we'll see how it goes. So basically, behind me, you can see some cliffs, some very nice ones. I'll show you a little bit better view if you want of these cliffs. Got some nice custom trees on this map. This is the server I've been working on for quite a while. Flat, straight edge up to the top of the cliff of grass. The other thing a lot of people do when they make cliffs and stuff in Minecraft is they add a layer of dirt or grass onto the top of it, and I just don't like that. That's not something I care for. It's just, it doesn't make it look good to me. Me, I like sheer things. I don't like the dirt and the grass all over every single part of the map. It's just not good to me. It doesn't look good. Um, to me, I like, realistic looking landscapes, and this is pretty realistic. I mean, you don't have grass growing on the side of a cliff as much as you think you would, so why would you put grass on it at all? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come fly over here. This is a very good example of a valley that I finished. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna do some more cliffs on an area in this direction. It's not finished yet. Like I said, this is a custom World Painter server or World Painted map that I had done. There's more videos about that. Go check them out.